Early voting in the state's largest cities is set to begin in just a few weeks. A federal appeals court last week denied the State Department of Justice's attempt to keep new limits on early voting in place. This means that in-person absentee voting will begin in Madison on September 26th and in Milwaukee on October 10th. Voters will still have to show a photo ID. We're talking more about this now with Neil Albrecht. He's the executive director of the Milwaukee Election Commission. Let's begin by talking about that October 10th date in Milwaukee. Madison's going earlier, September 26th. Is October 10th date a sure bet, or could it be earlier than that?
Well, right now we've put that day out there for some public response. That gives us 4 weeks of early voting. 2 of those weeks will be at satellite sites in the city of Milwaukee. We're going to pick sites on the north side of the city, probably in the Midtown area, and then also on the south side of the city in what is Aldermanic District 12, very high concentration of Hispanic and Latino voters. So we put that out there to see if the public believes that that is sufficient. So I would say right now that date is subject to revision and possibly even expansion.
So early voting looks like what to people? Does it mean I can vote on weekends now? What does it mean in real terms to people in the city of Milwaukee, for instance?
Well, for the city of Milwaukee, it will mean weekend hours. It will mean hours at satellite sites that are closer to their neighborhood. It will also mean extended evening hours. So we recognize that a lot of voters in the city of Milwaukee, particularly in certain districts where you really see a working poor population, people often working multiple jobs, that access to voting on election day can be more of a challenge. So that's where early voting is really critical. It ensures their opportunity to exercise their constitutional right to vote.
Give us a sense of how many people take advantage of early voting. How big a part of the election process is it today?
Well, since the year 2000, since the 2000 presidential election, we've seen about a 400% increase in the city of Milwaukee in early voters. And that really represents a national trend. Across the country, you see more and more people, when there are early voting opportunities, taking advantage of those opportunities. They feel so passionately about the election, about voting, and they don't want to risk losing their opportunity to vote by a hectic election day schedule. Anything can come up, work-related issues, childcare-related issues that can prevent a person from getting to the polls on election day. They want to make sure they get their ballots in. So when you look at cities like Chicago, for example, just to the south, almost a third of their voters vote early in the recent presidential primary.
Help clarify something for us. There was legislation passed not all that long ago that says you can no longer use what's called special registration deputies. Will that rule be in effect for the November election, or are these deputies still going to be able to do things before this and the law will take effect after this election?
Sure, that's a great question, and fortunately that does not take effect for this upcoming presidential election. It will likely take effect at some point in the spring of next year. It's very unfortunate. Special registration deputies play a very key role in urban populations like the city of Milwaukee, getting people registered prior to the election. They're out on the street, they're going door to door, they're at festivals and street fairs, and getting people registered before the election encourages voter participation. It also alleviates, just like early voting does, some of that crowding that can take place at a polling place on election day.
Real briefly, can you respond to the Republican argument that Milwaukee and Madison, bigger cities, have an unfair advantage in this because you're offering people many more opportunities to take advantage of early voting? Rural communities simply can't do this because of personnel, staffing issues. What's your response to that?
Well, my response to that is election law is really written to accommodate that towns, villages, and cities have different population needs. So there's nothing that forces, for example, a town to do the extended hours because their residents don't require that extended hours. But in large urban areas like the city of Milwaukee with a population of over 600,000 people compared to a town of 60,000 people, we need those extended hours to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to cast their ballot.
Neil Albrecht is the executive director of the Milwaukee Election Commission. It's good to have you on the program today. Thanks very much for being with us.
Thanks for having me on again.
When we come back, look ahead to a Ron Johnson and Russ Feingold debate rematch.